you're on.
Now, we're back live and need a motion on the floor for come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Good motion by Councilman Redcorn, seconded by Councilman Chuck. Any discussion?
No, let's go.
Call for the vote.
Secretary Tishewala,
Yes.
Councilwoman Irwin,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Chairman Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Councilman Shackelford,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Councilman Big Horse.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. Somebody go get Galen. We'll get on with the show.
We got hot dogs.
What are we gonna eat lunch?
It's out there.
See any, I gotta catch it.
David's,
Well, let's stop and eat lunch.
David's heating them up, he's got the whole tray on the grill right now, to warm them back up.
Plenty of hot dogs out there.
Good too. This may be a couple of them.
I don't know, the revolve part, they were pretty good.
Oh, that's all beef.
You're on, Galen. Make yourself at home.
I'm on,
You're on.
okay.
So good to see you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
Good to
your
be
patience.
back a little bit.
Thank you for your patience.
For all the time you spent in here on executive, I was thinking, why don't we just doing that? So,
I'll feel you here.
so what I have today for you is a couple of concepts. I'm here as the member of the Osage LLC. Need to back it up a little bit for the recording. My name's Galen Crowley. I used to have, when I sat up in that chair, say your name, say your name. So I'm Galen Crowley, I'm here for that. I have two different deals. One I think would be really good. One is just a concept that if you guys are interested in, we would try to facilitate on it. I'll go to that one first, but we want to spend more time on the second. A couple of months ago, we were, maybe not quite that long, but we were approached by Dr. Jacobs at Oklahoma State. You know, he's the drone guru down there, he's known all over the nation. And so he had some people that wanted to go for a grant and do a test on flying drones that would be equipped with a sniffer, specifically for methane is what they were looking at on this one here. And this is a company that's wanting to go into that business as a commercial venture, but they want to prove the concept on being able to fly the drone and detect the gas and whether it would be something that would be helpful. And he'd actually contacted one of my other council members first because he knew him, our board of directors. I'm in here now, I'm calling us council, but one of the others. And so he didn't think of it right away, but then when they got back to me, what they were hunting for was a native partner to be able to do their testing. And I thought, well, I'll pitch it to the Minerals Council, see if they're interested in doing this. And so contacted Everest at the time and said, would you want to listen to our phone conversation about what they want to do here? Everett listened to it. But I think they kind of come to us a little too late in terms of getting around because they didn't get their grant in time. So that deal's gone. But the company that was wanting to do that is still wanting to do the development of this system. So
What's the name of the company?
I would deal with Dr.
There's a company already doing that right now. There's one working with Scott Descharm right now.
What's the name
Called
of them?
Logistics.
No, this is.
I saw them at the oil show last week. They've already got drones that do just what you're
Well,
talking
they all have drones to do what it did. This isn't so much a new concept of the drones. What these guys are wanting to do is develop one that goes beyond line of sight, so that it is more usable for in the future.
Beyond what?
Beyond visual line of sight. In other words, you don't have to be there running it. As it goes. You can program a drone that would leave. As far as the LLC would be concerned, we might be able to find a way to facilitate or work with them, by running out of Skyway 36. But we're just kind of, I was just kind of facilitating it to see if you guys would want to talk to them about being able to use, you know, something of yours to be able to do testing on. And as I recall, there wasn't any, with the original deal they were trying to do, there wasn't any necessarily payment to you guys for doing this, but they would share all the data, they would share how they went about doing it, and what I thought of right away as a thing that you guys may be interested in, I don't know if you are, not my job anymore. But I was more than a little bit disappointed when that big grant came in, you know, to do the remediation and stuff, and you guys didn't get to keep a hold of it and do anything with it. I'm not faulting you guys for that not making your decisions. I'm not there, but I was just disappointed that didn't happen. To where you guys had more control over it, because, well, you know, I spent 8 years in these seats, and I always thought everything that has to do with minerals ought to come through here first.
It's supposed to.
No matter whatever else you do with it, it ought to come through here first.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
So, and that's still my mindset. So, I thought maybe that, it might be possible that if you guys would allow these folks to work, and this is just me spitball, I'm not trying to tell you, that you may be able to prove need, that you can get some of that. I don't think that money's all used up yet by any means, and the advance is going into trust hopefully this month. So if there's more money to be done, the chief's baby, you know, his pet project he always wanted to do was to get that ranch into trust. And so that's about to happen. So if there's other stuff to go, why I was thinking that maybe that might be a way for you guys to benefit directly from this. Not only to collect the data, but to do it. So I'm just pitching that out there. If you guys are interested, we will try and facilitate it for you. Get with somebody to come like I kind of did with the then chairman. So, and I knew that project didn't work, but from talking to my staff, my CEO, he was talking to these folks, and I'll think of their name in a second, Paul, I swear. But I tell you what, when I get old with names, don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Okay. It's embarrassing when you can't think of the name of something. But at any rate, he said that he was just talking to that company, and they're still looking to make that happen. They missed out on that grant, but there's lots of other grants coming and lots of other ways to do it. So I just wanted to pitch that out there to you. And I'll answer whatever it is, but I don't want to spend a lot more time on this because I have another one I think is a lot more.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman.
I have a
Okay, so,
Mr. Chairman, wherever you want me to go.
You got a question?
thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I would like to know who it is that you're talking about, so we can, if we're gonna consider something, and we need to know who you're talking about. There are other companies out there, some are already talking to the Osage Nation already. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. They're talking to the Osage Department of Natural Resources. Yeah, I think they have a meeting with Craig Walker.
Probably.
That's what I learned in Oklahoma City at the expo last week.
I have a question.
And I'm not finished yet, so I know how Councilman Redcorn feels now.
Oh, no, you don't.
But anyway, like we tell a lot of people with the technology and stuff, we don't have any wells. We don't own one single well. We don't have responsibility for one single well that I know of. We're not involved in the pipelines, in the leaks in the pipelines. So I think that maybe you should be talking to the people who have wells. And in the case of the ranch, maybe you should be talking to the Osage Nation, who's got the well plugging program, because that's what this other drone company's doing. That's what I told them at the oil show. I said, we don't have any wells, you know, don't talk to them, because they wanted to come talk to us. I said, well, you're welcome to get on the agenda, but we don't have any wells. And so we don't. And I don't know what data you'll be collecting that might benefit us. Yeah, it's basically to find out if some methane is leaking into the atmosphere. I'm not sure what that has to do with us.
Except for your well plugging.
Yeah, we don't do anything with well plugging. We used to, we wanted to, but we
Maybe
got.
I'd like to get it again. I'm just pitching you the opportunity might be there.
I'm
May
done.
I,
Go ahead,
may I, I have something in front of me. It says U.S. Department of Energy forges collaborative partnerships with the Osage and Navajo nations to reduce methane emissions and other environmental impacts from undocumented oil and gas wells. Are they using those drones? Now, is the nation using drones to identify the emission of methane gas?
Is the Osage Nation using?
Yeah, you know.
Not to my knowledge, are they doing it now? Are they talking to people about maybe doing it? Especially, I'm learning that the plugging has been kicked over to them. I was coming, like I said at the beginning, I came to here as being somebody to direct them to, not to the Osage Nation, because I think we ought to go through you guys. But,
Yeah.
but if that's no longer possible, well then, don't do it. You know, that's all I can say. This is not something that's a big, any money we would make from the thing, by the we, I mean the Osage LLC, and we're in the total business of making money. If we're not making money on something, we don't want to necessarily do it. But,
People want to make money.
huh? But, any money we would make off of this thing I'm telling you about would be tangential. You know, they might want to base out of Skyway 36. We would rent them a building if we could get a hold of them. We would, you know, for them to do the development on, they could use our facility to take off the land, and we get money for that sort of thing. So this was a deal that the Osage LLC is a big go for doing that. It is something I thought, yeah, as soon as I heard about them wanting to have a tribal partner, I thought you guys were. And like I said, that particular thing that they were working on at that time has disappeared now because that grant they didn't get it in time, but the company still won. And if you want to talk to them, fine. If you don't, fine. It's okay. The second thing I have is a little more direct. And apparently there's a lot of money floating around in the nation to do speculative, operations on doing investments, investment capital being floating around. Because we've been approached by a couple of different outfits to do things. And to look for projects that we can do that would make that happen. One of the things that was pitched to us was a data center. And, like you, but perhaps I'm thinking a data center, why do we need that? Well, it actually turns out that's one of the best cash cows in the country right now.
It is.
Everybody's building data centers, they're getting rich on them. Some of our Indian competitors, as I call them, other folks like the Creeks, and specifically built a huge one down there. Spent many millions on this thing to speculate on it, and they filled it up. They're selling all their capacity, boom, gone. And the LLC needs data center or data capacity to run our drone program down there, to be able to do all the takeoffs, landings, all that kind of stuff. The casino needed them, and another thing we're kind of hooked with, or are directly, and that's the broadband. Osage Wasatch Connect is talking about building a data center someplace to run that broadband business through. So I was intrigued. I thought, sure, maybe we ought to talk about this. But the way this was pitched to us was by putting in a solar farm, a solar array. And this is where the money comes from to be able to make this, because the data centers are just huge energy hogs.
Yes.
And they take tremendous amount of energy to run. And that's where the cost comes in running them, and you have to have it to be able to even think about building one. So their pitch was one that was already established, was to do a solar array. And of course me, you know, first thing I think of when they're pitching solar to me in Osage County, I said, well, wait a minute, you know, is there some other way we can power this thing? So I said, how about natural gas? And they said, well, it's been looked at and thought of. It wasn't their particular thing they would pitch it to us. And this is a company, Enclave is the name of the company that's pitching this to us, that we already have a joint venture agreement with. And they're mainly builders. They were wanting to build the building and put the thing in there, and how it was being funded by venture capital was because it was going to make money as a data center, and then also the solar array, you put in a bigger one than what you actually need, and then you could sell back the excess, you know, to the power company. And so that's what makes the whole thing work. And so I made the comment to Russ Goff, saying, maybe there's a way we can do this with natural gas instead. And I kind of thought on a little bit, and I thought, you know, one of the things I learned when I was on this council, and we were doing, you know, the lawsuit, the settlement, was that one of the ways that we made the government pay for it, you know, for their mismanagement of us, one of them was by the natural gas. Where our natural gas is run, with the leases that were allowed to happen, and all that kind of thing within the Osage, because the natural gas has been treated as kind of a stepchild, as you guys know. We're mainly an oil company, oil business, but you had to get rid of the gas in order to do the oil. We get to the oil. So the past minerals, and I think even prior to that, for many years, the tribal council kind of let whatever way you could get rid of the gas happen. You know, and the leases happen that way. So much of the profit that could have happened to the shareholders was used up in midstream folks on the gas. That's where it goes. It's getting the gas from Osage County to the real distributors. And I also remembered that there was a way that I had explored a little bit on before. One of the last years I was on the council was I was kicking around an idea of doing a CNG program, where my idea was that we would do CNG and try to sell the nation on putting all their vehicles onto it. And back, this was, you know, many years ago, there was lots of push for CNG for private cars. And, you know, there were stations putting in love down at Oklahoma City, north of there, putting in CNG filling, to be able to fill up vehicles at it. Well, that's kind of went by the wayside now, and you know, electric's the way. I think that might have been a mistake. I think CNG might have been a better transition to do it. That's neither here nor there on this one. What I learned when I was trying to talk to some of them, the guy from Continental, I think actually, one of our bigger gas producers, I said, how would that work if I wanted to put in a CNG station, say it's got to, you know, to the casino to have them be selling that there? How would we have to have a pipeline that was ours that went to it, or how would that work? He said, well, once you put it in, this is what he told me, once you put it in the system, it's yours wherever it comes out. You guys do more diligence than I was able to do there. But what I was thinking of was using in kind, take a royalty in kind, and then sell it, you know, at the other end. So I had this little dab of knowledge. So I thought, well, maybe there's a place in here that this will work. So we've done a little more exploration, and even after I learned that you guys had actually done a little bit of an experiment using natural gas to generate electricity, and had proven the concept at least was viable. And come to find out, there's other people that are doing it right now and making it work. And one of the outfits that we had, again, that Russell had talked to just this last week at a big conference thing that they had was they were using CNG to do the gas. And they were actually paying market rate for gas and making electric generation to run data centers with. So I thought, well, maybe there's some way that we can figure out how to work a deal with the Minerals Council, whereby we could take that royalty gas. But I know some of the prices we're getting for it are not market value. I mean, that was one of the things when we were looking at how to get things back right again. Oil was pretty straightforward. We just had to make sure that you were getting paid for all of it, and that you were getting the market value. And you know, that was a problem in my mind, at least, with the highest posted price not being that. But I won't go there. But it was fairly simple for oil, but for gas, I found out we were, you know, some of our contracts we give away half of it before we even get any money. The money is already dialed in at a far below market rate price. There's just lots of holes in how we're marketing the Osage share of the gas. We're accepting what the producers offer us, and that's all we're getting. And there is some logic to how that was done. I understand by previous councils and from the BIA allowing those leases or those purchase contracts to go in, because as I said at the beginning, we had to get rid of that natural gas for to keep producing oil. And as regulations changed, it got even worse. I remember when I was a kid, you could drive around at night, out in the Osage, and that smell when you were coming around a tank battery or something, or someplace above that was like home to me. Whenever I smelled that anymore, it's like when I was a kid. Yeah, like that was a joke that somebody said, smell that prosperity. That's right. So that's not happening so much now, which means that they're probably shutting in gas. In my mind, you guys know better than me. We're not producing it, at least, in places that we could. So what I'm here to do right now is to pitch a concept that you guys are interested in me trying to figure out how we could economically use the natural gas. And apparently we can. If other people could pay at least pay the full market price and make it work, we ought to be able to figure a way to maximize the royalty gas and those prices, get some more money than what you're getting for the gas now on some of these leases, and us generate electricity with it, and go ahead and do our business LLC business of running the data centers or whatever we're going to do with it.
Chairman, I'd like to ask.
Are you through? Okay. Are you through?
Pretty close. So if there's interest in doing that, why, like I say, I already have the ability to and the money probably to do a solar farm and just go on and not complicate my life with going for this. But I feel it's imperative. I like to close the circle where it's all Osage stuff. We can build the solar farms. The Chinese would get some money for us building the solar farm, and then the LLC would work just fine with electricity. But there ought to be a way we can maximize it for all the Osage. Now,
Councilman Reed.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Thank you for that. What is the name of the company that you are already doing business with that wants to do this?
On Collab,
Oh, what is it?
ON Collab,
Collab.
CALB.
Okay.
And these are just the guys that fixed it. We have, they're a building company.
Okay, so how big of a structures are we talking about? We're talking about a couple of buildings, a complex of buildings? How much acre, you know, what is the size of the center?
Well, that's still yet to be determined, how much we want to have, how much we feel like we can utilize.
Okay.
That means be able to use the casino's capacity that they need, and there may be more than one center.
Okay. So, the Osage Mental Council 4 tried to, well, we studied whether or not we could take our gas in kind. We are not allowed to take our gas in kind. So we can take our oil in kind, but we cannot take our gas in kind, right? So that's already something that we've looked into 4 or 5 years ago. We'd like to change that to where we could if we wanted to, but I will say this. It's a horrible market, you know that, the gas market. Not just for us, but the purchasers that the oil companies sell their gas to.
Yeah.
It's like you said, Osage County just has a network of gathering systems. And then it goes to another market outside of us. And those gathering systems aren't making a fortune either. And they are horrible contracts. But we have low volume. We have all this infrastructure that's really old. And there's leaks everywhere. That's why you hear about the drones and trying to find the company I was telling you about that I met in Oklahoma City. That was one thing that they're looking to do is fly over existing pipelines because there's so many leaks.
I'm sure that's a
lot of line loss. So, but I will say this, you don't have to take our gas in kind and deal with our gas in kind. These producers, you know, we'll make the money off our royalty position no matter what. And the producer that's selling to a gas pipeline that's not making hardly anything, they would love to have another market. If you can pay a little bit more than what the pipeline company's giving them, they'd probably be all about route your gas this other way, their gas to this other end user. You would be an end user of it, and we as a royalty owner would benefit because we would get a higher price if the producers got a higher price. So that would be favorable. Now here's what I do. My big concern is these data centers, real serious business. They can't have any interruption in their source of power. I think that was a concern about the casinos using gas. Is like, well, maybe we could use gas and generate our own electricity, but we need this backup. We still need the gas utility company as a backup in case this goes down or it fluctuates. Well, I'm not so sure the utilities are really want to help you do that. In this case, I would think that if this entity was going to use natural gas as cogeneration to make electric, to supply energy to this data center, they would need a more reliable source for their electric need. It'd have to kind of do a combination of both, I would think. So that brings my last comment would be, where do you think you might be centrally located? You know, close to some gas reservoirs where there is natural gas, but also close to electric that you could supplement when as needed. So those are just some first thoughts.
Yeah, well, again, back to the concept that was first pitched to us, it's the same, it's a similar thing. The two things they need was some acreage to do this solar array, because that takes some room to do the kind of power generation that we're.
And we may be opposed to that. If you had an array of solar panels across our mineral estate, you're condemning that part of our mineral estate. We talked to somebody not too long ago about that very subject. It's something that the jury's still out on.
Yeah.
Councilman Rick.
Thank you, Chair.
Well,
Jim, answer, go ahead.
I have a little bit more to say about that. And so the second thing that we would have needed to do was to be at least close enough to not a major necessarily transmission line, but a transmission line that would be able to handle our overflow. It doesn't have to be some big, huge towers and deal, but it would need to be more than just the power running down the county road. So that was the two things we had to hunt for, was a place for, and of course Osage owned, or it could be bought by Osage.
Or
With
leased.
it, and that was your backup. In order for you to sell it back to the electric company, you have to have electric service coming in. So what you're essentially doing is say like for the solar, you would probably be producing more during the day than what you need, less at night. There'd be some batteries of some kind, but you would still have the ability to have electricity you were purchasing. And then during the day, you run that meter backwards, so to speak, and sell it back to them. So yes, it would need to have redundancy of some sort.
Councilman Rickman.
Thank you, Chair. We did 2 tests, mono, had a company come in, pull gas straight out of the reservation. First one was 800 BTUs, didn't work. Moved it about 6 miles south of the Husk, BTUs up and over 1100 BTU. Bam, it worked. Put it out there about, I think it was 700 or 800,000 cubic feet a day. It generated enough power to run 3 pump jacks, sell a quarter of that power back to the utility, and generate Bitcoin. They threw a Bitcoin deal in there, and it generated $18 in 1 day of Bitcoin. So it does work. Well, as we explored further, found 2 locations where we're burping gas out of orphan wells. I can send you those 2 locations. One down there by Hominy Prue. We think, we being Bill Lynn and I, the geologist, thinks there's enough structure and a lot of blowing gas. And how we found it is people are taking that gas and burning it in their house. So we got one over in Bartlesville, one over here. We found them. I got the pinged locations of those 2. And I think the strongest one is over there by Prue. Now, if you want to grab that, I think we ought to let you guys go out there and just run the numbers, do a test on that well, and see if what you can put in that location. It might be able to sustain and then really what you're talking about, and we found this out there, I did, is you pay the shareholders their royalty rate, and then you walk away with the rest.
Right.
And that's not a decision we make, that's in CFR.
Right.
So, you know, you're batting 1,000, you're gonna pay ONG $6.40 per MCF as opposed to just paying royalty at 40 cents, somewhere around there.
Right.
So there's your.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I
the
think-
sweet spot that I was kind of saying. I misspoke when I was saying about taking it in kind. It was a
Yeah.
similar thing, but
Okay.
the concept is the same.
Yeah,
And so I was wondering, you know, this all came to me, you know, trying to figure out a way to do the natural gas. Well, Russ ran across these guys at this deal just a week or so ago that are already doing it using CNG. And they've agreed to help us figure out, again, you know, for the size of data center we want to build, how much MCS we need to run that. They will know. They've already done it. They've been doing it with CNG. And they would sell us, they would not sell us, they would, you know, collaborate with us to tell us about how their deal is working. They've agreed to talk to us about it. So I'm more pitching, rather than a final deal to you, I'm pitching the concept. And like I said before, I've got the concept that we could go with solar. But before I spend, you know, a whole lot of my staff time, there's people a lot smarter than me that's going to be dealing with these folks and doing the crunching the numbers and getting that happening. I wanted to just make sure that there would not be something that the Minerals Council would be opposed to, and hopefully they'd be cooperative with. So as far as locations, that's what I was hoping to be able to find for you. Where would you, what pipeline system or what wells or whatever that would be there that you could suggest to us, and then we could work collaboratively to make it work.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I guess just the second thing was the company, there's a company that owns a lot of our pipelines. And they were already doing this. They pop one molecule and pop it over here and they give a charge of $2 per MCF.
Right.
And so they're doing that already.
Yeah.
So the thought was we had, now we're looking for, well, I'll stop there. Have our guys out there, our guys, that's no longer there anymore, but to operate and push that gas at certain locations throughout all our wells.
Right.
Shoot it in and then they pop it out where we want.
Right.
That's where we were going, that's no longer.
And that's kind of what I was talking about, when I was talking to guys from Continental, how that would work to where we could,
Yeah,
once the gas is in the pipeline, we get to claim it.
yeah,
Wherever
pop
we
it in and it pops out.
Who's Continental? You keep throwing out Continental.
Well, that was people that were running the deal down in the southeast, part of the Osage Nation at the time.
How about the gas?
We don't have any gas company called Continental.
No, you don't anymore. And they were affiliated. What was the name of
Was
that?
it CEP or you talking about?
CP.
Okay, yeah. You're talking
Yeah,
about.
I was, again, with my,
Yeah,
I slept a while.
I was gonna say, I had to call with him just a week ago. It's
Well,
changed.
Galen, we respect, respect the Osage Nation, and we respect anything that they bring to us, But just like Councilman Redcorn said, we're obligated to our trustee, and everything goes to them, or they come to us. And
By BIA you're talking
yeah,
about?
real Indian affairs. You know that well as I do.
Yeah, I always thought it was, I tried to get along with it as best we could.
Let me finish. And what we, whatever goes down, we got some good suggestions to you, that crew. I worked with Councilman Redcorn and Lynn on some of those things, trying to get gas here, get it, took it over there, and we run into obstacles, and next thing you know, it just dies out,
Well, we voted it down.
We're open for some suggestions. Is that all you got, though? Is that all you got?
Well, a little bit more of it that I can explain. What always happens when you're trying to do these things is look for funding for it. And apparently right now, there's people wanting to throw some money at us.
Here's your 2 wells.
And
Look
so
at it.
we can, by working with the Minerals Council, I think, and trying to figure out if you guys are wanting to do something like this,
I am.
we can let you help guide us where it might be, what that sort of thing to do. And we can come up with some better numbers on the MCFs it takes and that sort of thing, so that we can talk intelligently about it. But before I spend any time with our people and doing that, I'm the cheapest guy on the whole staff. I only make about, well, I used to make about half of what you guys make. Now I'm making way less than that by being on
Is there any other questions of the council? If not, the shareholders is with us, and she wants to ask a question. Go ahead, Lou.
I have another meeting, so I just have a couple of things I want to say. I appreciate him, Galen, coming to the Minerals Council and acknowledging you all, because I do appreciate him and acknowledging that the Osage Nation took the $1 million. I think that's a good thing that he did recognize that, and that he is coming to you with these concepts. And I do appreciate very much him doing that. I know there's probably underlying reasons that he's doing it, but I do appreciate that. I also want to mention that, no, we do not own that equipment, but we do own everything underneath that equipment. And the shareholders elected you all to manage that. And we appreciate every time you step up to the plate and do your job. So when you go out and say, we don't own that, we don't own any wells, that's rather offensive to us. So when things come along, it is your job. It is your job to manage this minerals estate. And we appreciate it when you step up and do that.
And thank you, Lee, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Gail, appreciate we'll talk it over and mull it over there.
I think we have another.
Go ahead,
Just a
Gil.
question.
If it's okay, I'm just gonna show you those, I'll give you the GPS points of those two locations.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
orphan wells blowing gas.
Absolutely, and as a
You guys
deliverable,
do.
so to speak, on this meeting here, if you guys talk it over, and if you guys could send us something that said, you know, we wish to listen to more, we're just trying to develop this idea with natural gas, not any kind of deal till you know the deal. That'll help me with the rest of my board.
Okay.
Just saying that I didn't just come here, you guys said, sounds interesting, that you're interested going forward, because otherwise we can start building, you know, the other direction.
Okay.
And, so, yes, ma'am. Is that okay to, Roger?
I'll be real
Just
quick.
last comment.
Okay, all right. So when we're doing the data center, are you wanting the data center to be close to where you actually, where you want the data center? Because that's what you were actually wanting to come up with the electricity or in kind with the gas or whatever. Do you have a possible place you want to put that?
When we were looking at it, was near the Skyway 36, the old airport,
Oh, okay.
the casino. That was for that first concept.
Okay.
But come to, as I look into it further, it doesn't have to necessarily be there. Data center is run by wires coming in and out and going back out again, and so it can be
Okay.
other places.
All right. I just,
Thank you, Gail, appreciate it.
thank you. Appreciate you.
We'll be mulling it over and do that.
Right.
Thank you.
And I have one more quick comment. This one data center we're talking about doing may not be the end. If this concept proves out, this could be something that the Osage LLC is interested in doing more of, like I was talking about with our other Indian competitors,
Yeah.
doing it just as a profit, deal. So
Okay.
this would be a fairly small compared to what it could be
Okay.
eventually.
Thank you,
Appreciate it. You bet.
Just when you go out there.
Molly, going down the agenda on new business, item B was scratched, and item C is Calgary Pipe. I got a call from Calgary, and they got a call from the Osage Nation Cemetery that they want to use the pipe at Calgary Yard, belongs to us. They want to use it to fence the new cemetery. So whenever these guys return, we will vote on it. I want to make a resolution.
How much pipe are we talking about?
They didn't say, they just said they want
We'd
to.
have to know how much pipe.
Well, we can find
We're
it.
gonna let them have some pipe, or sell them some pipe, or let them have some pipe.
That's what we're here for, to discuss it.
Okay, well, we need to know how much.
As soon as they get back, we'll discuss it. All we need is a resolution to say that they can use the pipe, that's all.
Well, we need to know, but how much?
Nobody knows. I think it's about 150 joints, I think.
I need to eat too, but maybe we'll break the line. I'm getting grumpy. I'm always feeling like I'm always grumpy too. Ever took a plate out to the car, Tolly left.
Tolly had to leave.
Holly had to leave, he's got a meeting, he works for the Osage Nation.
Five of us here, so cool.
I want to make a motion that we grant Osage procurement, Osage procurement, Claire Wood, I think is what the college said, address it to her to have permission to use the Calgary pipe to make a fence for the new cemetery south of town. That's my motion.
How much is that pipe that we got out there? What town? Out of that?
Some of it is workable pipe, and there's some on the ground that is with junk pipe. I think there's about 115 joints, something like that.
Why couldn't they use that?
It's a possibility.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's junk pipe.
All the Osage Nation needs is for us to give them permission to use whatever pipe that we designate they use, evidently. I made a motion, and need a second. Motion on the floor, but, all right, need a second.
I'm second. Are you talking about for the graveyard?
Yeah, for the graveyard.
Who made the motion?
Okay, I got a second, and now we can discuss it, whatever y'all want to talk about.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I would like to know how much pipe we're talking about. And are we talking like Councilman Big Horse inquired? Are we talking about structure pipe? Are we talking about good tested pipe? Because I know Calgary's got tested pipe, because we approved a resolution and had it tested.
That's the one we
They do it now.
We've got a lot of pipe over there that's good pipe that we could sell for cash.
Okay.
I think that we probably do have some pipe that probably didn't test good, so that came in off of the wells, that are good for structure pipe or fencing, that's not good for reusable. So I'd be in favor of allowing all the structure pipe as much as needed to be used for that purpose.
Okay.
But if we're gonna talk about good drifted and tested pipe that has, you know, a high dollar value, I would wanna know how much we're talking about specifically.
Well, that's, out to Calgary, I think they ended up with like, 300 joints, I think, but it's all, you know, out to Calgary. I think it's structured, but that was the one that was tested out there, if I remember correctly. Now, the ones at the yard out here are, Bill Lynn had to put in there, they're used to work over joints, they're used to that, the ones on the rack.
Oh, yeah, the working string.
Yeah, work
But we
over.
do have some used pipe
And then the other's sitting on the ground.
that might be fine for them to use. So I say, if you wanna make a resolution to use the structure pipe, I'd be all in favor of that.
Definitely.
If we're going to talk about our good stuff, that could be used or sold, then I'd want to maybe revisit it at another time with another resolution,
Okay, I'll amend my motion to use the structured pipe.
the structure pipe.
Okay, and you second?
Okay.
Any more discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Councilwoman Irwin,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn, Chairman Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes?
Councilman Shackelford,
Yes.
Councilman Waller, Councilman Big Horse,
Yes.
Secretary Tishwala.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. Next is the old business and meeting minutes. Here, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I had one correction in it and I'd already, gave it to Lisa.
I put Councilwoman Redcorn.
Councilwoman Redcorn,
Councilwoman.
needed to be changed to councilman.
No, let's leave it the way it was.
Okay, that's correct.
I will fix it, yes.
Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Second by Secretary Tishwala. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Chairman Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes?
Councilman Shackelford,
Yes.
Councilman Waller, Councilman Big Horse,
Yes.
Secretary Tishwala,
Yes.
Councilwoman Irwin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. Anything else before we adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion on the floor, second by Councilman Shackelford. Any discussion? None, hearing none, call for the vote.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes?
Councilman Shackelford,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Councilman Big Horse,
Yes.
Secretary Tishwala,
Yes.
Councilwoman Irwin,
Yes.
Councilman Red, Chairman Red Eagle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. Thank you, staff. Did a
Thank
good
you.
job.